Perfect. So, hi, this is Iyad and this is Rina. Let me just do a quick intro about myself. And Rina, if you would like to introduce yourself. Iyad, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area here in California. I've been a career and leadership coach for the past 20 plus years. I worked at the United Nations. I worked with Stanford University, Purdue University. I worked with multiple startups as a recruiter, head of recruiting, head of HR, head of global learning, and the head of behavioral science. I've been working also as a coach for a lot of students here in Silicon Valley who are interested in launching careers in tech, especially in like a coding bootcamps graduate. I'm also a coach and behavioral scientist in residence with Localized, and I've been with Localized for 4 years. We've been delivering weekly workshops for the past few years, and what we do in these workshops, we help students find meaningful careers, share some insights and tips, share some resources, and create a safe but brave community for people to thrive and find meaningful work. All right, Rina, a little bit about yourself.
So my name is
You
Rina.
can,
I'm
yeah.
Rina. I'm studying architecture in Syria. Well, I'm kind of enjoying this field a bit too much, and I'm interested in coaching, and also I've been helping Iyad for a couple of months, and so nice to meet you all.
Awesome,
Back to
awesome.
you,
Thank you,
Iyad.
Rina. Wonderful. Perfect. All right, let's do it. So, how do you write a resume when you're looking for an internship? We have a template for you to specifically for an internship. This is a computer science student. Imagine if you're a psychology student or liberal arts student, whatever student you are. Think about announcing and signaling immediately to the recruiter that what kind of student you are in terms of a major and also a year of a study. So you can use like American terms. I'm a freshman, I'm a sophomore, I'm a junior, I'm a senior, or you just say I'm a third year undergraduate student studying computer science. You can do that. All right. So who you are is very important, right? The second thing is what you're looking for. So this is where you build clarity immediately with someone by just saying where you are and what you're looking for. I am a behavioral scientist looking for a behavioral scientist job at a tech company. So you know who I am and you know what I'm looking for, right? And you can, the second question is, okay, tell me about what you did. So how are you gonna get there? All right. So who you are, what you're looking for, more specificity, the better, right? Because immediately that's gonna be if the recruiter or the hiring manager is looking for a specific type of students or employees, they will, and that's exactly what they're looking for. And you know that through the job description, then I say, okay, immediately that's the right person. So you are building an unconscious bias in the recruiter's brain that would work for both of you, right? You would that would work for you as a candidate and would work for the employer as the hiring manager. Okay? So I highly recommend having a profile and summary because this is where you can customize your resume. You're not going to be able to customize every single word on your resume. This is where you actually customize your resume. All right. Your name, the rule of resumes, if you can just say it, that would be awesome. So usually we say, hey, I'm Iyad, right? Here on resume, if I put my name, you know this is my name. So you don't have to put the word name. The word data analyst, all right, I'm looking for a data analyst position. This is where you announce that this is what I'm trying to do here. So if the recruiter is trying to hire a data analyst, that's where basically, even if you don't have an experience, like a formal experience as a data analyst, this is where you're telling the recruiter, I'm the right fit for you. The date, the address, the phone number. You don't have to, again, put phone, email, address. You don't have to put your email immediately. We don't have to say email, and put your LinkedIn or portfolio or GitHub, right? If you're in tech or design or product management, uh, it's required at this point to have something you can talk about, you can show, and not just telling a story through words. You tell your story through visuals, okay? Now, I know we're sharing a lot, so I know we're going to have a lot of questions, but think about it this way. Uh, your resume is your story. You tell your story the way you want, as long as it serves you, as long as is the in the context of the job you're applying for, right? So this is the from here to here. Let's take Rina, what do you think? So far, if you're applying, let's say you're a first year student right now, and you're looking for a summer internship in your field of study right now, or you're looking for a summer internship in something different. Uh, what would you write here?
You mean profile array?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Do you mean in the fields of profile and summary?
Yes, exactly. What would you write for yourself? Like something you're interested in. What would that be?
I guess I'm gonna put maybe a landscape.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm gonna put like a landscape internship in the field
Mm-hmm.
of architecture
Mm-hmm.
for summer, or maybe I would put some specific months so that they know that I'm gonna be working for 2 months, 3 months, so that to be more specific for them.
Perfect. Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. So that's exactly right. What we are looking for is usually more specific goal and specific profile so that we know that this is the right fit. Okay. Someone raised their hand. I don't see the hand anymore. If you want to raise your hand one more time so I can see it. So that would be great. All right. Now skills. Now think about your resume as a two sections. One is a core section and one is a customized section, right? Core section means when you say resume, there are expectations that you have to have in order to say a resume. Like think about it this way. When you say pizza, you're expecting that there would be a dough, you're expecting there would be a sauce, you're expecting some cheese maybe, right? Core requirements to call something something, right? A burger, you're expecting meat, maybe. What would you expect? Pasta, you're expecting pasta, right? That's exactly when you're expecting resume. There are things you are expecting to see on resumes. And these are the three things I would call they have to have, you have to have on every single resume. I call them the see your resume. Skills, CS, E, education, E, experience. So when you say see your resume, put these three things on your resume. Without these three, I wouldn't call it a resume anymore. I call it it's missing something. Now that you might argue or say, okay, well, can I call it not skills, call it something else, or call education something else for experience? Yes, you can. Of course you can. It's your resume. You can call experience professional experience or professional history. Education could be education and certification. Skills could be skills, abilities, and other things, right? That's fine. That's fine. As long as you know red sauce or white sauce doesn't matter. Cheese or I don't know, cheese imitation. You can put that here, like it's not real cheese, or you could put like a meat, but it's a impossible meat. You can put that. That's fine, as long as you have the three core. I'm interested in what you learned. I'm interested in what you can do, and I'm interested in what you did. Right? These are three things will complete the 360 view about me, about you in my brain. Okay. So okay. So when Rina said landscaping and architecture, I want to understand where that coming from. It's coming from education. So I want to understand her education. I want to understand her skills. Does she is she able to draw things and using like tools? And we can talk about it in a second. Or and I'm interested in what she did in the past. Now she's first year student, so I'm not expecting to see companies' names, right? But I'm expecting to see a project. And that would be maybe project experience, right? Something she did in a class, something she did with a professor, something she did on her own. That the word experience has to exist, and the myth that I don't have experience, is time to put a full stop on this, right? Like no more, I don't have experience. You do have experience. It's just not a company corporate experience after graduation. When employers say, well, where's your experience? I say, I don't have experience. I need to graduate and find a job. So get experience, break this vicious cycle of thinking by actually building projects through your undergrad experience, through your personal project experience, through volunteering experience, anything that would give you a the outlet, the opportunity to practice your skills, to practice your education, to put them for use and make impact. Okay? So let's back to you, Rina. What do you think? Like you're again first year student. If you want to write
Yeah.
your resume from a skill perspective, what would be a skill? Education, what would be an education point and experience? What would that be? Whatever comes to mind.
Okay. Well, I totally agree with what you have said before. And for the skills, I may put maybe freehand shadows skills, because those things are so important in the landscape in which the architect need to provide those details for the customer so that they know that this space is able to be lived in. Okay. And for the education, I may put my university and also the internships that I have done before, and maybe also some courses that I have done also.
Okay.
And for the experience, I suggest putting um, um maybe a competition that I have participated in which I learned something. So through this experience, I reflect my skills and the way that I got this experience and how it affected me. So yeah, that's what I would what I would have done.
Amazing, amazing. Exactly, exactly. That's exactly what we're looking for is look at yourself as someone who did something. Look at someone yourself as I have things. The way I see the narrative right now, like I hear the narratives like I don't have experience, I don't know what to write, is not a reflection of lack of competence, is a reflection of lack of confidence. A lack of confidence comes from lack of awareness. So you just have to be a little bit more aware, and that will boost your confidence, and that will look as competence. That makes sense? So be more aware. How can you be more aware? It's just everything you do in life, look at it and reflect on it. Rina, now, I don't think Rina was thinking about what she wants to do on her resume. This is not scripted. We're just building live conversation right now. But just reflecting on her first semester in college. Well, yeah, we learned this. I built this. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I would do, right? So think about your narrative in this way. What did I do? Even if it doesn't look or sound or feel that like experience the way people are socially constructing experience or telling you about the word experience, it's not about them, it's about you. It's about your story you're trying to tell on a piece of paper, right? On a Google Doc or on a Word doc, whatever. So before we go to how to write that and how to communicate it, I'm going to take a couple questions and then we'll come back to continue. All right. Any questions so far? Just raise your hand or type the question in the Q&A. Any questions? Okay. All clear? Just raise your hand or type them in the Q&A. We'll take a couple. Waiting for other people. Okay. All right. Welcome back. You know, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna continue the conversation. All right, here you go. So, skills. How do you write your skills? Now, I see a lot of people write skills in different ways. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's a story. There's no wrong story, right? It's a story. A story means a story, right? So it's not science. That said, though, you can write your story in a way that would help you get your goal. And you might write your story in a way that doesn't get you your goal. So if your goal is to get an internship without experience, you have to double down on other aspects that you don't have in your on your resume, right? So when we said add something about your experience, add something. But if you are if you are basically coming with no formal experience, like working at a company or don't have a lot of projects, you have to show that you have skills. Now, skills, people write them in three different ways, or four maybe. They write technical skills. When I say the word technical, they assume computer skills. They write behavioral, or they call it soft skills. They write languages, or maybe they have languages as a separate section, but still a skill, right? And certifications. And some people put them as a separate section, and some people put them under skills, but they show that I have a badge, I have a label to show that I have this skill. I'm uh, uh, I'm, what is the word? I'm claiming I have, right? So technical skills, let's say you're looking for a job as an internship in software engineering. I'm expecting to see something related to computer science software engineering. So something like JavaScript, right? Could be React, right? Could be HTML, could be CSS, could be things like related to that. Maybe MongoDB, things like that. In terms of languages, I personally don't put languages on my resume anymore unless if unless the position is a uh, language related position, like a translator or editor or content writer or something like that. But why would people care about my languages? Historically, languages have been on resumes for since this the birth of resumes. But and I was like, I've been questioning for the last few years, what why who told us that we have to have languages? Now, if you're writing your resume in English, right, and you're writing and you're saying that you're a native Arabic speaker or French speaker or whatever, then I would know that from somewhere here. So think about it as a an addition, is a context, not a core requirement of resume. Certifications are not required at all, though they're preferred for some positions. If they're required by the job description, by the job post, by the person who asked you to share their resume, your resume, then that's fine. Go ahead and share, put your certifications, put them anyway, but they're not, oh, I don't have certifications, I have to go and get certifications. So in order to be qualified for the position, that, and if the position doesn't have that, it doesn't have that. They don't really care about that. And you say, well, how many certifications I should have? Well, we'll talk about, let's say in computer science, we're talking about if you're in computer networks, let's say CCNA and CCNP and MCSE and whatever that is these days, or in AI, or in Java coding and programming, or in databases, or these are great as long as they're gonna be helpful for you. But if you don't have them and they're not gonna be helpful, don't worry about them. Don't stress out about that, right? All right, we have some questions here. Let's see here. Um, I'm a graduate statistics and the experience I have is in customer service, but I want to transition to monitoring and evaluation fields. Okay, perfect. When drafting my resume, do I add my customer service experience? This is a question we get a lot, right? So the question is basically your degree is in one place, your experience in one place, and you're looking for a job that would might be related to your graduate or undergraduate education. Thank you for the question. The answer is, of course, put the experience that is by title doesn't look like similar because customer experience or any job or customer service at the end of the day, you're learning how to deal with people, how to analyze and solve problems, how to make decisions, how to work with a team, how to lead a team, how to present data, right? All these things are very helpful in pretty much everywhere. Jobs are very similar, more than people can imagine. Even if they have millions of titles, at the end of the day, you're either selling something or building something or building and selling something. So, what I would do is think about it this way. How can I tell the story about my customer service experience in a way that would help me get a job as an M&E officer on monitoring and evaluation, right? That would be my challenge for you. You can tell this a different story about the same job, right? And that's what we're looking for. Okay? Another question is volunteering work considered experience? And the answer, it depends. It depends on how you tell the story again about your volunteering. If you don't have a lot of formal job experience, and you're doing volunteering to get job experience, that's fine. As long as you're showing, as Rina mentioned, you're showing me how you actually learned from this experience, what impact you made, what skills you gained, what perspectives you learned, right? All these things. So, for example, let's say I volunteered with the Red Cross, right? I volunteered with them for 3 months. What did I do? Well, I just volunteered and just I put that on my resume, and I don't have anything else to say. That wouldn't be considered work experience. But if I say I volunteered for 3 months with the Red Cross and I helped with building a mobile clinic equipment and help with logistics, and I was responsible for making sure everything was delivered on time, worked with a team of 4 from different nationalities. I learned how to deliver a presentation in a very, very concise and clear manner. This is a work experience. It actually could be more valuable on your resume than a formal work experience directly related to your major that maybe in reality you didn't learn as much, right? I remember I did an internship with the United Nations once, and I didn't learn much at all, like just doing nothing, just looking at the printer and looking at other people and chit-chatting. And that was, oh, UN, you worked at the UN. Tell us about your experience. Titles matter, labels matter, but what matter even more, if I can go back in time, I would do something that would help me build my abilities even more, right? Don't get me wrong, both matter. Labels and abilities. Abilities like a skill set, and labels, I'm talking about titles, certifications, names, all these things. Both can get you places for sure. All right, one more question here about do you recommend using AI? I do not recommend using AI, only I actually am asking you to use AI. Without AI, you're not tapping into the power of enablement or enablers of technology, right? Consider AI a tool. If you think it's not more, it's not less. It's just a tool. If I'm telling you right now, write your resume and you go write it on a piece of paper, what would you say about me, right? That's exactly used to be the case 25 years ago. People used to write resumes using pencil and paper, and people used to tell them why you're not using Microsoft Word. Then later, uh, people write on Microsoft Word, but they're not using editors to correct mistakes, or a use the tools of Microsoft Word, or maybe Google Docs, or whatever, or templates, whatever. And say why you're just building something from scratch. You can tap into the power of tools. Same thing with AI. AI could help you a lot finding your voice, not replacing your voice. And this is where I draw the line with AI. AI these days acts like a, a replacement for HI, human intelligence. What I'm telling you to do is use AI to boost your human intelligence, to enable your human intelligence. Artificial intelligence is creating artificial voices. I can tell immediately when I read somebody's resume that they used AI. That's the wrong use of AI. The right use of AI is you write what you want to write, make sure that represents your voice. And if you see, then you go to AI. You go to AI, not if you want to go to AI and ask AI to edit any typos. So make sure you don't have any mistakes. So instead of saying, write me my experience section, I worked at this company, and write it for me, write it down. That's one way, and that's the wrong way, in my opinion. The right way is, this is what I did at this company, and this is the what, the why, and the how, and this is how I would like to put it on my resume. Can you edit it for me for typos only? So I'm sure you're gonna be able to see, detect some typos yourself, but AI can do it faster and more accurate for sure. You missed a comma here, you misspelled a word here, you have a grammar mistake here and there. That will clean it up for you. Read it again. This is the most important thing. After AI gives you something, it's the starting point. Read it again and see if you feel that this is your voice. And if it's artificial to you, then it's going to be artificial to other people. And then make sure that you put it on your resume, clean, clear, and all that. Okay. Okay. Um, we'll answer other questions later, but this question, Ayham, do we put certifications under skill or education? Skills or education? It depends. If you want to put it under skills, that's fine. You want to put it under education, that's fine. You want to put it under each like under its own category, that's also fine. Don't worry about where to put it. Put it in a way that would help you shine and thrive on your resume. Okay. Is it customary to have the profile as a single sentence, or could it be longer in certain situations? Wonderful question. Do whatever you want. I personally prefer less. Less is more on resumes because it's a summary. So if it's going to take me time to read a summary, then I might not read the whole thing. And if there's an important sentence in the summary, that you want to tell a story about something in the resume, and I'm not reading this sentence, then what's the point of the summary then? All right. Maniha, do we need to share the PDF certificates as well? You don't. No, you don't. Only share it when asked. Exactly. Only share it when asked. Perfect questions. Well, guys, you have really good questions today. All right. I'll take one more question. I'm sorry, but I have to. I'm receiving some type of training and supervision from an Amazon employee on a grant. I'm training to be a solutions architect in the cloud computing sector. But when I read the job description for any desired position, they ask for 5 or more years of experience. Okay. I told the supervisor, and she told me that they will not find this employee, so you can apply for the job with less than a year of experience. Okay, cool. Could this be an exaggeration on the part of HR employee? What a question. I don't know. I don't know. The question is, a position requires years of experience. You don't have the same number of years of experience, the number of years of experience. You ask HR, they said, we don't, that's just a number. You go ahead and apply. The question is it exaggeration? Is exaggeration from on the HR part or not? I don't know. Honestly, it depends. Job descriptions are not written sometimes in a way that reflect the real job. I wrote hundreds and hundreds of job descriptions as an HR professional and recruiter, and I do not sometimes feel proud of the job descriptions I wrote in my life because I had to write them in a way that to get as many people as I can or get as few people as I can, right? It's not about the job sometimes, it's about the pipeline. That said, though, I would read the job description critically. Sometimes they write the same sentence in different ways and they it would mean different things. Like bachelor's degree in computer science, statistics, math, STEM, or any related field. They don't really care about your job, about bachelor's degree, right? If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. About like a specific what they mentioned, a related field, anything is related these days. You can take a class in computer science as an elective inside the university or outside the university, and you do really well, and you get a job more paying job than somebody who actually majored in something, right? And it happened with me once at Purdue University. One of my students was a computer science student, and the average salary, I told this story last week. The average salaries for students at Purdue University then, that was 10 years ago, was like a 55, 60, $65,000 a year, which is okay. There was one student who was majoring in um I'm trying to remember. It wasn't computer related. It was, I think it was chemistry or something. And then this student took an elective, a class in Java, right? And he did really, really well. He took it, like he got an A in this class. And he applied uh, for Java programming positions after graduation. Uh, and he got a $90,000 more than students who actually majored in computer science. So again, it doesn't have to be your major to get a job in a field. And this myth, again, another myth called my specialty or my major or my whatever. Nobody cares about your major and specialty anymore these days. Very few companies care about that. Very few companies. Some companies do care, especially if it's a license. Like you cannot be a doctor without getting a medical degree or something. But sometimes you can, not sometimes, especially in computer science or STEM or some fields, you can be whatever you want during undergrad and then gain the skills. That's why we say skills matter a lot because I care about someone who actually have they have a skill, like a skill they use to build something, more than someone who majored in a field that they don't have the skill set, they don't have the experience, right? And again, the word experience, we're talking about experience with a capital E, not a small e. Small e experience means formal experience at a company, working at a company or whatever. Capital E experience is anything you did that you learned from and you made impact in the context of the job you're applying for. Does age matter on CV? It does, and in a negative way. Try to stay away from mentioning your age on your CV, whether explicitly or implicitly, right? So explicitly, my age, something, whatever, right? I'm 18. I do, and do I need to mention I'm 18 on my CV and that's fine without that? Yes, please don't mention. I do not want to surprise my recruiter on the time of the interview as he might think I am too young, ladies. Okay. Uh, yeah, don't mention. It's a source of discrimination and ageism, so I wouldn't mention that. Don't let the recruiter get the wrong impression about you based on their internal biases before they see your qualities. So if you have a graduation date, don't put it, in my opinion. Anything that relates to can show that you are a young person, don't put that, or old. That said, though, that said, if you are a student and you're still a student and you're a traditional student in a sense that you are not like a returning student or a professional who decided to go back to school, I'm gonna assume that you're still in your early 20s or younger, right? So that's fine, especially if you're applying for positions where they're asking for students, they want you to be a student, then that's totally fine. Umar, that yes, that's why don't put the year of graduation. That's what I'm saying. Don't put the year of graduation unless if it's you're asked to do so, and it's gonna help you to get the job, or it's expected because you are a student and they're hiring students. Then that's gonna help you. Actually, you put a question nobody asked me yet is should I put skills or experience or education first? And the answer, if you would listen to me today, you know the answer. Which one we put first? Skills, education, or experience? If you really listen to me today and you learn from this workshop anything, then that would be it. What would be the answer for which one we put first? Skills, education, or experience? If you can put that in the chat, that would be awesome. Or the questions. That was a trick question, by the way. And yes, I said skills matter more sometimes, but the word sometimes is the key word. There is no right answer here. Skills, education, or experience, put whatever makes your profile stronger. If your education is, let's say, in communications, right? And the position they're asking for a student, uh, a junior student in college, to get an internship in communications and content writing, I would start with my education, right? If you have the skill set in something, but you don't have the required degree or the preferred degree on the job post, start with the skills. If your education or your skills are not the most powerful things on your resume, start with your experience. Maybe you worked at a company that the name of the company is a big name, and that will give you extra points in your application. So, if there's one takeaway from this conversation today, your resume is your story. Tell your story the way you want to tell your story in the context of the job post. Okay? But most companies have from they want to know the year of graduation. That's a different story, Omar. You're going into details at this point. Do whatever you want. As if it's not asked for, don't put it. If it's asked for, then do it. Okay. Okay. Now let's go back here and we're gonna talk about the seven C's. So far, I'm gonna share screen with a presentation. Okay. Okay. It's actually a Google Doc, and I wanted to make it as simple as I can. So think about the seven C's as like this. Any communications, if you put like 100 recruiters in one room and you 100 career coaches, each will give you a different tip about your resume, a cover letter, your interview, or things like that. Think about these are like universal code you can use whenever you want, agnostic to the job, location, language, culture, all these things. So think about them as something I can use every time, right? First, start with context, customized. What does that mean? Means nobody's going to say write a generic resume that is not targeting a specific job. Nobody's going to say write something that nobody can understand. No one can say write something with mistakes and problems and grammatical errors and punctuation issues and things like that. No one's going to say write 7 pages and it takes hours for people to read. I don't know anyone who would say write something that templatey and looks exactly like other people. Don't write something that sh- short sell you, right? Like you don't want to uh, underselling yourself. Be confident, not cocky, not arrogant. Confident means if you did something you learned from, you made impact, is going to help you get the next job, then say it, do it. And last is being credible. Nobody's going to say lie on your resume. Don't lie, don't exaggerate. Say exactly what happened and be proud of it. And provide numbers and facts and figures that to help you tell a very authentic, credible, sincere story. All right? So these are the 7 C's. What we can do for a like as a follow-up on this conversation, what we can do is we're gonna send you a recording of each one of these 7 C's from previous workshops and how to actually use AI to a make sure that you have a an interview or resume or cover letter use these 7 C's. Okay? So I'm going to write them down in the chat again. So clear, clean, concise, creative, confident, customized, credible, 7. Okay? All right. Now remember, this is not, well, my resume is clear or not clear. It's not binary. It's a spectrum on clarity from 1 to 10. So 1 would be, I cannot understand anything here. 10 is super clear. I can understand every single word and understand what you're doing, what you did, and how you did it. Clean, same thing. Clean means, hi, Rina, welcome back. Uh, so clean, creative, the same thing with the other ones. So think about them as a spectrum, as a rubric, how we can get from point A to point B in each one of these. Hi, welcome back. All right. Okay. So that's kind of basically
Thank
what,
you.
no worries. All right. Rena's internet today is not super clear, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. Uh, okay, what about other questions? So somebody mentioned a question about GPAs. Should we mention our GPA? The answer at this point, you know the answer. What would be the answer? Should I mention my GPA? You would know the answer, right? I think no, that's
Yeah, are
not.
you asking me or you're asking the attendees?
No, no, I'm asking the attendees. Sorry, I'm asking the attendees.
Okay, yeah, great.
Yeah, no worries. The answer is it depends. Again, if your GPA helps you to get a job, then put it. If it doesn't help you, don't put it. I want you to stop asking questions about if there's a piece of information and I don't know the piece of information. It doesn't work this way when it comes to jobs. There are hundreds, if not thousands of possibilities and situations where one answer is the right answer and it's going to be a completely different answer if in a different situation. I'll give you an example. We all know, or we knew at one point, that when you go to a job interview, you have to wear a suit. And the suit has to be dark, you wear a tie, and you have to wear this way. And for women, you wear it like this way, and for men, this way, all right? And this actually was a very common, I would say 99% of career centers around the world used to tell students and coaches, tell candidates to wear things like that. You actually go to a professional coach to tell you what to wear, how to speak, what to say, what not to say. And this is, in my opinion, was a problem because not all companies are the exact same thing, right? When you go to a company that are you're expected to wear a suit, then wear a suit. But when you go to a company and the culture of the company is not about suits, is not about, formal dresses and all that, then when you wear that, you're gonna be off culture and you're not gonna be perceived as a fit for the culture. And that's a problem. That's also on just what you dress and what you wear. Vice versa. So tech startups, for example, in Silicon Valley, if you wear a suit to an engineering interview, they will find it very interesting and awkward. And that's not necessarily going to be a disqualifier, but definitely is going to be visible. And vice versa. If you're going to go to a job interview where everybody's wearing suits, like lawyers or investment banking and all that, even old investment banking, not new ones, but anyway, and you're wearing jeans or flip-flops or pajamas or all that, that's going to look really interesting too. So you have to be very, very careful how to read best practices and tips and what to do and what not to do when it comes to job search, interviews, resumes, and all that. Use your brain, use your critical thinking, read the context, read the room, and then act accordingly. Context, context, context. Okay. Now, the final 8 minutes here. We talked a lot. I talked a lot. What would you learn? What did you learn from this conversation today, from this presentation? And in the questions and answers, if you can put, Ayham, do you have a question? Go ahead and ask. Just keep the hands raised like this. Rina, what is something you learned today? I know the internet wasn't your best friend today, but anything that
Yeah.
was with you.
Well, it interrupted in the middle of the 70s. For me, the resume section, it was so concise and it was so clear. So for me, I guess it's those two things today, and I'm just gonna apply them on my resume so that I can benefit as much as possible. What
Amazing.
about you?
Me, what I learned, how to be more credible, like provide more facts and more data to support your argument. People love evidence, so they trust you even more. The evidence doesn't have to be numbers and facts by just figures. Could be a story that happened, right? A qualitative feedback, anecdotal feedback. That would be evidence. That's fine. People's experiences and stories are evidence. Doesn't have to be numbers and statistics and all that. So more of that on my resume or during my job interviews. I would say out of all the job interviews that I've done and didn't get the offers, I would say 70% of the time the reason was I wasn't clear on the impact I made.
Mhm. The impact you made on the company you were working at?
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
got you.
Okay, exactly. So be clear on how you made impact. And again, if you're not aware of the impact you made, then go ask. Ask people who you worked with. Ask people who benefited from the work you did. Clients, peers, manager. And if they didn't tell you something that you would feel comfortable putting on your resume, then you reflect. It could be a
Yeah.
personal impact on yourself. I worked as a waiter at a restaurant, and the impact I made is like I served clients with love and compassion and make sure that they leave the restaurant with more energy than when they entered the room, right? Something like that. And
Yeah.
I made sure that they would come back for the service, not just for the food. That's
Mm.
impact, right?
Well, yeah, I see it. It's as much as you appreciate yourself. As much as you know your worth, you can understand it and reflect it in your resume and the experiences or skills even too.
Totally. 100%. 100%. I
Okay,
personally
so
don't.
here we have Ayhan is saying that he learned that conciseness is key.
Hmm,
Yeah, and also he's saying, can you please give us a quick summary on what we've talked today?
sure. Quick summary about what we talked today. 3 points. Number one, your resume, your interview, your cover
Mhm.
letter, anything you use for to find a job is your story. Own it and remember that you tell it in the context of the job post. Second, use a framework like the 7 C's we talked about to structure your resume and your story during the job interview as well. And make sure that you, every time you read your resume or you practice job interview, you jump 1 point on each one of them. Last, use technology, AI or other things to boost your intelligence, not to replace it, and to make your voice more authentic, not more artificial. Okay?
Mhm. Yeah, thank you so much. I really agree with you. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Right. So we have a feedback form. Let me see if we have it somewhere. And we still have 3 minutes. Anybody wants to ask a question, just go ahead and uh, feel free to do so.
Okay, yeah, so maybe you can have an eye on the Q&A section because
Okay.
I have that is saying thank you, amazing. We have Neuro that saying all along I thought it should be complex. Thanks. And also, I learned a lot today, but the ones that stand out are providing a LinkedIn profile in my resume and also to retrospectively check my past experiences and link them confidently to the current job aspirations. Yeah, great job.
Nice, nice. Uh, Let me just send you the form because respond to the form and we're gonna send you the resources, templates, all that. So let's say a localized session, and here is gonna be April 30, 2024. Okay, okay, and this is the link. If you can just copy the link, I'm gonna copy the link and put it in the everyone you can see. All right. So if you fill out the form, we're gonna learn more about your experience. We're gonna share the recording and the resources and templates. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Rina and I are going to respond to you within like 48 to 72 hours after the questions are in. And thank you again for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
again.
much for attending. We're waiting for you next Tuesday.
Awesome. Same here. All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.